Welcome to the Game and All. I am your host, Eric White, and I'm here with Coach Peter VIllia. He happens to be the East Iberville High School head coach. He's a trainer here at D1 Training in Baton Rouge. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you said you were a former NFL player,
that's
correct?
correct. Yes, sir. Yes.
So, Coach, the reason why we're here today, just happened to recently be searching through. I saw that you trained over, I think you said 15,000 athletes?
Yes, in my coaching, in my coaching career, along with doing things on the side, I've just kind of worked with athletes from various areas, various age groups, from little youth all the way to adults. So I've just kind of been around it for so long, working with athletes and things like that, and just it's always been something I want to just give back the best way I can and give the kids my knowledge based off my experience of some of the things I didn't have and the things I picked up along the way to help me kind of be an success story to help these kids be able to fully get where they want to get to.
Gotcha. So what are some of the players that you have trained? Who are some of the players that you train?
I've trained various guys, man. Some guys recently right now, some of you may know, Devon Gottschall, who played with the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
Datavian Wicks, who plays right now, just got traded to the Eagles.
Okay.
Kevin Dotson, who played with the Rams. Percy Butler, who actually played with Commanders. I've also had some All-Americans, Todd Harris, who played at LSU during the time frame. And then I'm still working with some other guys who are in college right now at various schools. Just kind of a truffle of kids I've worked with throughout that time frame. Dwayne Harmison, who actually played overseas in basketball, trained him, and now he's actually training and things like that. So I just try to give kids what I know.
Wow. Let's focus on your journey a little bit. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, what made you honestly get into training that many guys? Because it takes a special person to train and actually mentor these many athletes who could very well have a very narrow mm-hmm. window of either making it professional or just going down the wrong path. What inspires you to do that? Well,
I think when I got back into coaching, and started that career and process, I saw a lot of things from a different angle. Being that a former player, there's certain things that a coach has time for. And one of the things that I knew that we couldn't do on the clock is really get into the dynamics of really what the player needs. So I got into training where I started doing it after practice. A lot of kids would join, and eventually I started hosting little satellite training sessions or whatever around Louisiana. Sometimes we'll be at the Highland Park. Sometimes I have an 11 in Plaquemine. Sometimes I have a session in Zachary. So I just kind of started doing that and got to more and more where I actually got into this national program where somebody can find you online. So I had people coming from various areas. I never met them before in my life. They'll reach out to me. And then from there, I just kind of got a knack to it or whatever. It's something that I wanted to offer because most parents can't afford certain aspects of training kids. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? That's when I started my nonprofit organization, which was called Vision Athletics. And I basically will get donations and things like that and be able to charge parents at a cheaper rate, but give them the same quality of training and things like that. So that's just kind of how I got involved with it. And I just kind of stuck with it throughout my process or whatever. So yeah.
Like we said earlier, you was a former athlete.
Yeah.
A former athlete. You made it all the way to NFL.
Yeah.
But like you said, you're giving them the proper training out. That's something that you have told me in the past that you haven't had all that training, like how they have now these elite football camps and everything.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you this, what do you think was your most controversial moment that you had to overcome? Because any athlete I've been around, they face some type of adversity. If you can open up about that, I'd greatly.
My last situation happened. I had signed with the Carolina Panthers back in 2005. But during that time frame, I got cut a couple times throughout that time. So this is pretty much my final time or whatever. I think before I understand, I know I'm gonna give it up. So I ended up flying up. Went out there for about 2-3 weeks, and I get a call that my dad is ill. So my dad ill. I'm in here trying to follow my dreams, pursue what I really want to do. I think this is a golden opportunity for me, but I had to go home. So I had to leave the training that I was doing up there. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. Excuse me. So after that, I had to stay. My dad ended up passing away. So then the whole deal was, you know what? We're going to go ahead and try to work with you. You're going to go and probably send you overseas and go play ball. I said, okay, I'm with that. That's fine. So I got around December of 2005, I got a staph infection in my quad. It ate up like 40% of my muscle.
Oh, wow.
So I had to do outpatient surgery, had to do packing every 2 days. And like it basically was kind of like I was a shell of myself for its movement. So once that happened, I went back and tried to go play arena ball back in like 06. Down there, it was called the Lake Charles Swashbucklers. That's an arena team. I went out there and I tried, but I wasn't a shell of myself. So once that happened, I was like, you know what? I'm done. It's over with. I'm continuing to keep fighting this process, and I'm not getting where I need to be. And that's when I knew, it was time for me to step back.
Did it hurt you to leave the game?
Yes, it did. It did hurt me to leave the game, but it also inspired me to this area, in which there's a lot of things that I didn't have. The stuff that I learned, I had to pick up along the way. And now I'm at a point right now in my life where I'm old enough to understand what's going on, and I pay close attention to all the new things that's out there and trying to give people some of this stuff for free, the best of my ability, and not charge them a plethora of money. Just want to give back to the best of my ability.
Like I said, you are at D1 training.
Yeah.
You're East Iberville High School's head coach.
Yeah.
Tell me what's been your experience with that?
The experience at being a head coach, now it's about trying to change the dynamics of the community. When you have an area or a sport area where sports is not really grounded in the community, and the only thing is actually basketball. So me actually coming in, I have to lower my standards when my expectations to try to work with kids to get them interest, which sometimes be as a challenge, because now if there's not a recreation park league in the league that's helping our kids play football, then all that stuff falls on me and my staff. So we have to be creative at how we're doing this. So when I got out of training, I took this head job here because I didn't want to get involved where I'm training athletes and now athletes are leaving schools coming with me. So I got out of training. It just so happened that Ms. Courtney, who's the owner here, back in 05, when 24, when I got the job, she reached out to me. She saw my resume. We talked a little bit, and at some point, she just said, you know what, I want you to come in and train for us. And I thought about it. I left it alone. But then, right around December of 25, I was like, you know what, let me get back into it. Right. And since that time frame, it's kind of opened me up to be able to go into now what am I going to do with my athletes, because I'm doing all these with others, but it's all about trying to get other athletes with it to be now including my own. So it's a challenge at times, but I'm flexible enough to do the things I need to do.
Lastly, what is your advice to these athletes that have so much going against them? What is your advice?
It's pretty simple. You got to take care of yourself first. What I mean by that is you got to listen to your parents. You truly got to understand the rules and expectations that which you have upon you. You can't jump the gun too fast. What I mean by that is you can't expect to be great without any work. But you also got to be humble enough to listen and pay attention to those small nuggets that people are giving you, because if you choose not to, you're not going to be successful in various areas. Second thing I'll tell athletes, have a backup plan. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. You play in one sport and you think that's going to be the highlight of your life, and parents nowadays are having kids travel various areas all over the world with AAU and things like that, and that's great, but the investment in the classroom got to be more important than the investment on the basketball court or the football field. So being able to, tell them that's my next thing. Third thing I'll tell an athlete and a parent as well is, be humble enough to listen. Sometimes there's somebody trying to tell you this, that, and the third. Find out the information for yourself. Find someone who's humble enough to tell you the truth versus trying to give you a big dream. Because we can all say kids are good, they're great, they got great talent, but if they don't have good character, bad work ethic, bad personality, those type of things, you're already getting a line drawn through your name before you even get an opportunity. So those are the three things I'll actually tell an athlete right there when it goes to that.
Well, Coach Pete, it's been an honor talking to you.
Anytime.
This has been The Game On and Off. For more, be sure to check out our YouTube page and our website, thegameonandoff.com.